It's the power of Jayskull. It's been a while. I'm out of practice. Give me a break. God, it's been like 4 or 5 months since we've done one of these.
It's been a long time. We decided to take a bit of a break, but we are returning. And we've decided to return, Jason, with some, well, an attempt at intellectual kind of study of characters, which will just come off.
You lost me at intellectual.
Yeah. It'll be the opposite of intellectual, but we're going to do it because I've had a bit of an issue with one of the characters for a while that we've come back into the whole world of Eternia. And I thought it's a perfect time, to talk about this. And that is Man-at-Arms, Jace.
Oh, he's crazy.
Good guy, but slightly problematic in my opinion.
Is he a good guy, though? Is he really?
Well, that's what we're going to try to kind of have a chat about. And the first thing I kind of wanted to mention was Man-at-Arms. Let's define his role. What's his job? His main job is to be like the head general, right? To be the protection of the king and queen and Eternia as a whole.
I think he's that, and I also think he's the weaponsmith. Like, he's always coming up with new inventions and new doodads and thingamajigs that they can use to defeat the dastardly Skeletor, to keep him from taking over Eternia.
Well, inventions is one way to do it. Morally questionable actions is another way to describe it.
He's a monster. He is a monster second only to the sorceress, and I said what I said.
Well, let's talk about his vehicles first. Has he ever made a vehicle that would ever pass any safety regulations ever?
No. And you know what? I know that you mentioned one before, but I'm going to bring up one that just hit me. Let's talk about the attack track. All right?
Yep. All right.
So Man-at-Arms creates the attack track, which is basically just like a minivan / tank that they tool around Eternia on. And of course, they do the little flappy things with the treads. I don't know what that's for, but they do it. What does he do with this, though? He makes the attack track a sentient being with thoughts, fears, sarcasm. How many times did we see the attack track get wrecked or destroyed in this show?
A few times, and that raises a whole bunch of questions.
Oh, yes, because the attack track not only dies, but Man-at-Arms salvages it and brings it back every single time. And every time poor Track comes back online, his first words are, "Am I dead yet?" "No, Track, you are not dead. I've brought you back." "Oh my God, no." And then he erases his memory, and it's just like, status quo right there.
Man-at-Arms and Dr. Frankenstein, I think they have a little bit in common, bringing things back from the dead, modifying things. I mean,
the only thing is nobody ever thought that Dr. Frankenstein was the good guy.
Yeah.
We still consider Man-at-Arms one of the heroes, and I just don't think he is. I think he's a highly problematic person.
Do you imagine being one of the Royal Guard and you break your ankle? I'd be terrified at that point. Don't take me to Man-at-Arms. For the love of God, do not take me there. I will walk this off.
Hey, I'm not sure if I should tell you this and make you panic, but I just saw like a knee with a saw blade attached to it in his lab, and it has your name on it. Like, literally, he wrote it with erasable ink. Just letting you know. I think your new name for you is going to be Sawfoot. I don't want to be Sawfoot.
That's the other question.
I play football. This is not fair.
Not only does he, butcher people and modify them, he gives them crap names as well. So
he does.
No thought about it.
No, not at all. Okay, let's talk about the guy that we were going to talk about, because Man-at-Arms is responsible for this monstrosity. Meckaneck, who had a broken neck, right? Yes. So, I don't even know if it was broken. I think they just said he injured it, which means he might have had a cramp, or he might have had a little dislocation. He just needed to
go to a physio.
Yeah, he was knocked down during a storm, and he just kind of laid on it wrong for a few minutes. He got up, he's like, "Ow!" And Man-at-Arms walks up, like, "Let me take a look at that." First of all, obviously not born Meckaneck. His name was like Bill, I think.
Yeah.
So Bill hurts his neck while he's searching for his son, And Man-at-Arms makes his neck telescopic.
Yeah.
They
And
need-
this becomes his psychosis. Oh, well, it'll help him find his son. How about send out a search party
yeah.
and just, put a brace around this guy's neck? He'll be fine.
You know what? You got a sorceress. Hey, sorceress, can you use a spell to help us find this kid? Oh, of course. There. Oh, he's right over there. Yes.
Yeah.
I erased his memory, by the way. He doesn't know who he is. Why'd you do that? I don't know.
Can you imagine what it was like halfway through that operation? How gory it would have been. That would have been the scene I would have been interested in.
Well, you know that to
like
do
Reanimator
that
style,
operation-
removing his head.
Yeah, they would have to like decapitate poor Bill and put his head in a tray. And I like to think during that time he woke up. He woke up and he's like, "Oh, where am I? You're in a tray. I'm in a tray. Oh my God, I'm in a tray. What have you done to me? Sleep."
He's just, and the thing is with Meckaneck, it's not even like he can stretch his neck. It's not like lasers shooting out of his eyes.
No, and
it's
he has goggles that look like they would shoot lasers out of his eyes, but no, it's just we think they look cool. They don't look cool. They don't at all. It's like a 6-year-old's idea of what would be cool, but then they draw it and they're like, ew.
I also have this kind of wild non-canon theory that because he's a bit psychopathic, Man-at-Arms, at night he modifies anyone, good or evil.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got a backdoor surgery somewhere that's looks like that doctor from Minority Report's office. If you remember when he got his eyes replaced, where he's just doing these
such a great movie and nobody
operations.
talks about it. Yeah.
No, they don't.
I don't know. My headcanon, and I know somebody in the comments is going to actually, I know that in the comic books, I know that, but
yeah,
in my
we haven't
headcanon,
read Wiki.
in my filmation headcanon, I think that Trapjaw used to be his best friend. And then one day Trapjaw tripped and stubbed a toe, and Man-at-Arms was like, and and then he ran for it, and he went and joined Skeletor. Like, there's a crazy man back at the castle. They're coming. It's okay. Skeletor's got you. It's okay. Let it out. Let it out. I wasn't always a skull. I was making some tea and burned my cheek. He took my face. He took my face.
I also mentioned I had another theory that Orko is actually knows exactly what Man-at-Arms is. And all the jokes, all the accidents, mishaps are actually Orko taking his revenge in some way, pointing out in his own kind of Orko way how much of a butcher he is. That's why he's the butt of all the jokes all the time. Orko.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I am all for that theory that Orko is basically undercover sabotaging Man-at-Arms. All for
Someone's got to do it.
You know what? You know who I think is pulling the strings behind that? King Randor.
Ooh.
King Randor's.
You reckon he's funding it? Because someone's got to fund it.
He's telling Orko, Man-at-Arms is crazy. I can't take him out because he knows things and he did things. Adam's not our first kid. You need to go in there and F his S up.
Now I'm having scenes of Alien Resurrection where there's a room and you see all these distorted, modified versions of Adam that they tried to create before. That's so wrong.
Faker's not a robot.
Oh,
I'm just saying, Faker is not a robot. All the times that you see a character and you're like, oh, they just reused He-Man's face. They didn't. It was Man-at-Arms.
Man-at-Arms.
That was Adam 4, Adam 6, Adam 12.
He's there going, well, okay, we call him Faker, but you know what he really needs? Blue skin. Give me some dye.
Get me dye and a tattoo gun.
And the blonde hair's got to go. Got to be orange. Got to be orange.
Absolutely. I don't even remember what Faker's hair was. Was it orange? It was orange. Wasn't
I think it was orange. Or am I thinking the one where it's the anti-He-Man?
That his hair is just like black, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think,
yeah. That's a.
Hey, to change subjects a little bit, I just want to kind of refresh. Since we've last been on the show, a He-Man film is fully in production as we speak, Jason.
Yes, and they are casting actors, which is good. It's
It's
good.
good.
I will believe it when it hits theaters, but it is good.
Well, what I think is interesting, they're
Yes.
casting actors who have had a pretty solid TV streaming experience and putting them into the main roles. And I think that's smart because if you look at a film like Dungeons and Dragons, right, you had really one main star, which was Chris Pine, and then just populated with younger actors. And what they were able to do that on a moderate budget was to make something look absolutely spectacular, have a great tone, and a really fun adventure. And there's part of me, Jason, that wouldn't be against a little bit of that tone in this movie.
I'm the same way. I do think it needs to be a light tone, kind of embrace the fun goofiness of Conan, and a little bit of Ice Pirates would be fun. I'm a little concerned with some of the things I've heard about the story, because there is we've read a few things where it says that Adam starts out on Earth.
Yes, I remember reading that.
I'm not a gigantic fan of, but I am going to be good, and I'm not going to prejudge anything, because it is a masterverse, and whatever happens here doesn't ruin what's over here. So I'm just going to let it,
I'm hoping it's a misprint and it's the start of Selena on Earth.
Yeah.
Now that would be an interesting way to start the movie. Have her on Earth.
She could be
find out how she gets to Eternia. And then, absolutely. But the fact of this, it's 2024, dude, and we are actually getting a He-Man film is pretty spectacular in my book. For a franchise that's 42 years old. You know?
Yes. I'm pumped. I've been waiting for this ever since I was disappointed in 1987.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the one thing that if they put in the movie, you're going, I'm out. I'm not going to watch this if you do this.
I don't know. I'm open to a lot of stuff. I'm open to a lot of characters. I wouldn't even mind Gwildor if he shows up. I mean, he showed up in a Revolution, and I thought he was fun. And I loved the fact that they canonized the 1987 movie. I'm open to a lot of stuff. I just want them to be true to the spirit of the characters, and just have fun with it. Make it weird, make it wild, make it wacky. Have some good action. Have some good actors in the roles. I know there for a while it was rumored that Sacha Baron Cohen was playing Skeletor, and a lot of people kind of poo-pooed on that, but I'm just like, that would be awesome.
Wish.
I haven't heard anything else about it, so I'm assuming it was a rumor, but have somebody of that caliber as Skeletor, somebody who's funny. Who's funny, because Skeletor is a big prissy wuss at heart. He's a big prissy wuss who has magical powers, but the second that it looks like he's going to get hit in the face, he's like, and he runs away.
He's a coward, and you've got to use that. Yeah, you've got to use it.
Frank Langella was a magnificent Skeletor, but I want to see the cowardly Skeletor. I want to see that come back.
You know what? I'm interested how they're going to do the effects, because we've spoken about this before, but I'm a big proponent of mixing CGI and practical effects. I think that's when special effects are at their peak, and that's what I'm hoping for. That a lot of the characters are pretty well look very familiar and are pretty well accurate to the TV show figures. But, most of it being practical with just some CGI enhancements. And I think you're onto something here.
I want to also see them embrace the costumes and the weirdness, because I think that if Deadpool and Wolverine taught us anything, it's that audiences will embrace costumes. We will embrace color. Now they don't have to give us like the harness if they don't want to. Give us the costume from the Netflix series if you want to. That's great.
Yeah.
Don't you dare give us the costume from the New Adventures of He-Man. Don't you friggin' dare.
Oh, imagine that. We get man bun. Oh my.
No, we're not.
I think there's the line, right? That's the line where we give it up.
Honestly, I would be
Skeletor from New Adventures of He-Man with the giant donkey teeth.
With the weird eyes. No. I would even take the costume from the end of Revolution, because I thought that was a fantastic
It
costume.
was a nice looking.
It took everything from almost every iteration of He-Man and crammed it together in something that looked friggin' sexy, and I loved it.
Yeah. I'd accept the armor He-Man. With the sleeveless armor chest plate. Yeah.
Battle armor He-Man. I would love that. But yeah, don't be afraid to embrace the goofiness, because the audience will embrace the goofiness.
We want the goofiness.
Don't keep the goofiness from us.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's one of the reasons the film even got greenlit, is the fact that they're trying to make the right He-Man movie. Then it's a prerequisite that you don't go X-Men 2000. We don't go leather costumes. We go full out with it. Look, I'm fascinated to see more development news on this. I think it will be something that will be they'll either hit the target or they're going to miss it by a bunch.
Well, I think that Mattel, with the success of Barbie, has learned that they need to not only treat their IPs with respect, but they also kind of need to trust creators to do unexpected things with them. And
that's an excellent example, actually.
Yeah, I really hope that they mind this, and that they continue to give creators that kind of freedom, because the Barbie movie was spectacular, and I loved
And who are the villains in Barbie? Mattel.
Yeah, Mattel was the
villain. So, that's genius.
I'm interested in the whole Mattel cinematic universe, to be honest, because is He-Man going to be part of that universe? Is it going to be connected to Barbie? I always said I think a great sequel to Barbie would be Barbie is sent to Etheria and meets She-Ra.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that was what She-Ra was. She-Ra was action Barbie. And maybe Barbie is in awe of that. I don't know. I'm fascinated and scared of the idea.
Well, I think you raised another thing. If this movie's a hit, the next thing, I wouldn't do a sequel. I would move straight on to She-Ra.
If they can get the right straightened out, absolutely. Yeah, if they can get the right straightened out, absolutely. And I really hope they do, because that's got to be the storyline for the next round of Revolution He-Man. Because they teed it up. They teed it up. So they've got to follow through. But I mean, go through and do She-Ra. I'd love to see them take another crack at Brave Star, to be honest, because I always thought Brave Star's setting and its setting and its premise, I always thought that was fantastic. And I'm really sad that never caught on like it did.
Yeah, it was in the glut of the mid-'80s where we had so much stuff. And there was a period there from the mid-'80s onwards where there was so much good content being made. And, I think some stuff just got passed by. I think in any normal time, you release Brave Star and it's a massive, massive hit.
Come on. It was Firefly before Firefly was Firefly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
I will never forget, for as long as I live, the episode where they kill a kid. I will never forget that, because it was sobering. There were so many anti-drug cartoons back then, and so many anti-drug messages. But when Brave Star was like, do drugs and you die, just like this kid. Like, oh my God, Brave Star, I'll never do drugs again. I was 7. I'd never done drugs by that point.
The future is bright in the world of He-Man and Master Universe. I'm really excited about that, because you're right. It's not only are we getting a film, we're getting another season of Revolutions.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of going to be great. And go on.
And we have some exciting teases on the action figure line, because right now that the action figure line is doing Turtles of Grayskull, which is a He-Man Ninja Turtles crossover. Yeah. Some people like it, some people don't. You know what? Yeah. Mouse Jaw was great. The Shredder figure was great. I really liked the King Grayskull Splinter, and I like Mutant He-Man. I've got a few of them, and I'm getting the ones I like. If I see the other ones, I may get them. If I see them and they're on sale, I may get some of those. But they teased at I think it was Comic-Con. They teased what their next little crossover is going to be.
And I don't know this.
All they did was put up the Thundercats logo.
Oh yes, I did see that.
And they did not elaborate. It was just Thundercats logo, and that was it. I will mess my draws if they bring the Thundercats characters into the Origins line, because that was always the crossover I wanted to see.
Yeah, and I think the only mistake they made from Turtles, and I hope they don't make this mistake with Thundercats, is what they should have done is the key characters should have been released with the He-Man molds as is.
Yep.
So if you're going to do this, give us Lion-O, give us those normal, and then do your crossovers.
Yep, do the weird
ones. It's like
ones.
The first 4 figures are your main characters, and then we do weird.
Absolutely. You know what? That's more figures we will buy. I will happily buy Thundercats figures with the He-Man mold. Happily. And then you know what? If you do Lion Man, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
If you do Cheetartila, I will buy that one. If you do
You've already named them.
If you do Panthro at Arms, I will buy that one. Just give them to us.
And come back to the movies. If you think about it, is there any reason if this thing became a hit and you had sequels coming down the pipeline, we couldn't have crossover movies with things like Brave Star and Thundercats?
It would. Well, Thundercats would be harder because they're owned by a different company. But I mean, the Filmation series like Brave Star, I think would be a thing. But of course, the problem with that is nowadays you say, "Hey, would you like a He-Man Brave Star movie?" And people say, "What the hell is Brave Star?"
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are going, "What the hell is He-Man?" Remember?
Yeah. Not as many as they used to. As you know, I teach grade school, and I always give my list of things that I enjoy, and one of the things is Masters of the Universe. And for years it was, what's that? What's that? What's that? And then the last couple of years has been, oh yeah, I like that too. I'm like, my boy, my girl, yes.
Yeah, but just imagine you in class doing biology one day, and you just got a picture of Man-at-Arms in the background, and they've all got figures that they've got to kind of modify. Instead of cutting up the frog, they're going to make something.
That's why they wisely made these characters to where you can take them apart and put them back together.
Yes, they did. Except the legs. The legs you had to cut the black.
No, I mean like the new ones, the Origin figures. You can take them and put them back together.
Come together.
Now, I had a classic. The spinny guy with the face, many faces. I had a classic many faces with like really loose legs, so I had him on the Snake Mountain being held like this. And the other day there was this horrible noise, like a whap, and I was like, "What is that?" And I looked over there, and his legs are gone, and like the rubber band had snapped, and the legs just went in 2 different directions. So I found all the pieces, but I got to figure out how to change the rubber
arms in the background going,
many legs. I also think he was responsible for Modulock.
Imagine, there's your crossover, Modulock with.
Where's our Origins Modulock?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
where is that?
I want him. And you know what? Give us another shot at Too Bad. That was crap. What you guys did with Too Bad. We want Origins Too Bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I want that as well. Well, guys, I think we'll wrap it up now. And you thought you were getting 25 minutes of us talking about Man-at-Arms, but you were wrong. We were talking about everything.
Attention deficit disorder.
Yeah, that's us in a nutshell.
Something shiny.
But we hope you enjoy
in front of my computer.
We've hoped you enjoy it. And we're going to be back with these kind of mini character studies, if you can call them that. And then sooner or later, we're going to be diving back into a series and going forward, and
we're
maybe
going to have to do
some
new adventures.
At some point, dude, you're going to have to put your hair in a man bun. You know, you're going to have to get a nice little leather strap to go across your chest and a pair of jeans, and you'll be rocking it.
Absolutely. The late 80s were terrible.
All right, guys, that's it for the power of Jayskull. Now, Jace, if they are crazy enough to want to see a lot more of what they do, and you should be that crazy, but what do they need to do to help support us and this channel?
Why, my friends, all you have to do is direct your attention to the video description below, where you will find a link to our Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you can support myself and VHS Chase in our quest to be YouTube creators, creating more stupid content that people can enjoy. You can also become a channel member for also the same price, and if you do either one of those, you get videos early. And we do appreciate our members and our Patreons, and we would like to appreciate you as well.
We would. Couldn't have said it any better or nowhere near as articulate. So until next time on the Power of Jayskull, we'll see you soon. And Jason, sign us out.
You have been watching The Power of Jayskull! It's good to be back.
This is good to be back.
It is good to be back, yes.
Hey, do Man-at-Arms ever have a wife?
Well, he kind of got a little freaky-deaky with the sorceress, if I do recall.
Yeah.
And she was
amazing
also,
she's in one piece.
she was also morally ambiguous, so I think that was something they had in common, and you just don't chop up love like that.
He's into some weird kinks.